Hello, buddy. This is Mr. Goodnight. How are you? I'm fine, except for the fact that I fell down the stairs the other day and hurt my back. Now, then, this particular episode of Goods from the Woods, you understand, is going to have some kind of language and some adult themes. So if y'all get the kiddos listening, this might be a good episode to just put them in another room, put on Dinosaur Train or PBS Kids, Curious George or Top Cat, whatever the kids like nowadays. Give them the chocolate, maybe have them sneak a few beers or something. But this one is for the grown-ups because we're discussing very adult things like fan fiction written by 12-year-olds. So this one might not be too good for the kiddos, you understand? Because when Mr. Goodnight's on the show, it's always erotic, but some of the talk in this one might be a little bit erotic. So this might be one for the grown-ups table, if you will.
Also, I'd like to say that this episode is brought to you by Audible.com. I use Audible. Audible's great. You don't have to read books. You can listen to books. Very recently, I got a book off of Audible.com. John Grisham's Playing for Pizza. Very good book. I told everybody I was listening to Thomas Pynchon's Mason and Dixon. They don't need to know if you use Audible.com. Only the people at Audible and you know. They're not paying us for this plug. I just want to do this to legitimize the podcast. And if you enjoy literature, you're going to enjoy this episode. If you enjoy coarse language, you're going to love this episode. But if you don't want to listen to coarse language, maybe listen to it through your headphones and tell people that you're listening to Thomas Pynchon's Mason and Dixon that you downloaded from Audible.com.
And here we go.
Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley. This is Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today we are joined by our very special guest in from New York City. It's
Lynn Bixenspan.
Yeah, hell yeah. Very excited to have you here. How's you're just in LA for a couple weeks?
For 3 weeks, yeah.
Okay, cool. How's it been going?
It's been good. Doing shows and stuff, and contemplating existential issues as I realize I'm the only person walking on the street at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that does happen here. We go to bed early,
I have a hard time being the only person around because there's so many people out here. It's like Calcutta, and they going through my garbage at night and things. There's people out in the dumpster and everything. It's like a wasteland. It really is.
I was going to ask you a question. So in New York, and I assume it's got to be similar to here, are there stores that have like trust fund people running them that are inexplicable in their nature? Like down the street from us, for instance, there's a place called Early California Antiques where everything in there is $900 and the owner's an asshole. And you're like, how does this place stay in business? Are there places like that in your neighborhood?
I live in Manhattan where it's like boring but accessible for me, like in like East Midtown. But I mean, in Brooklyn there are more stores like that.
Yeah, the entirety of Bedford Avenue is basically that.
Oh yeah, Pat lived
like
there.
everything. When I lived there, everything on Bedford Avenue, there was like some like incumbent things there. A few bodegas. The cheese store or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a record store. But usually it was just like, it was like a turnstile. Every like 4 months, it would just be like a cycle of death and rebirth of like vintage clothing stores or just like crystal stores or something like that, it surprised me that in New York of all places, they would have crystal stores because that's more of a...
I feel like that's a very LA thing.
Yeah, they have one across the street from Heidi Ho Comics.
Maybe that's for tourists from LA or something to come to New York.
Maybe.
They want
so they
the
feel
crystal.
more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. It gives it the homey feel.
Yeah, because when I saw they opened a crystal store, and it surprised me because most of the people who lived in Brooklyn, like they dress like pilgrims. At least when I lived there, and I thought that there was like
buckles on their hats. And shit?
They did. They kind of rocked that like that aesthetic that like George Michael, Richie Blackmore, or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a Mumford and Sons inspired kind of aesthetic.
I'm glad I missed out on all that.
I don't know. You would look good in like cotton.
Well, I would look
here.
great in the 17th century, but it doesn't mean I want people walking around like Mumford and Sons and things like this. when I was in New York, I was in the Bronx, so that was a whole nother thing
different,
altogether.
In Alabama, where I'm from, every once in a while, you would have some very wealthy family would give their kid a business, and it was always something stupid. And the one I remember that wouldn't even last as long as the ones in Brooklyn. I mean, these would turn over in like a month. Was a place that they sold gourmet peanut butter of different varieties.
There is still, I think, if it like peanut butter, like there's a brand of peanut butter. Is it called Peanut Butter and Company or something?
Yes.
That place I think still exists.
Oh,
that seems like a viable business.
Yeah, well, in New York City, it'd be a viable business. In Auburn, Alabama, they sold gourmet peanut butter, and they also sold cereal.
Okay.
And I remember going in there and getting a bowl of Cheerios with bananas and a coffee. And that total was like $8 or something ridiculous, where I was like, I could get a whole bunch of bananas, a whole gallon of milk, and a whole box of Cheerios for this price.
Yeah,
That's banana inflation.
I know.
They served it to you? Is that what was supposed to?
Yeah.
Like were they like adding like something to it?
No. And they served it to us in a weird like Chinese takeout, like folding like carton almost, like that. Like instead of a real bowl, it was fucking bizarre. It was really
So
bizarre.
you're paying for that experience.
I guess so. And it was they didn't last very long, but they lasted longer than they should have, which led me to believe that they were definitely selling drugs out of there or something.
Well, no, at $8 a pop with cereal, all you need is one busy breakfast time, and you're probably good for the month.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They were across the street from Auburn University, which is like one of the biggest universities in the whole state, and they still couldn't live off of just coffee and cereal.
I think my thing with New York is that when somebody has like a trust fund, they don't enter into the world of niche capitalism. They kind of go more towards the side of like being an artist and like esoteric sort of like performance art sort of things, where it's like you do crafts and it becomes your job, and thus it makes you an artist, so they all live in like the McKibben lofts and places like that.
Okay, see, I think New York, either y'all was there, probably a combination of y'all were there at a different time than I was, and in a different part of New York than I was, because my idea of the New York retail entrepreneur was the guy selling bootleg CDs in the subway at night.
Yeah, well, that's a given.
That.
Yeah,
there's always that.
Well, the reason I bring it up, I've been back on a record collecting kick recently, and I've been trying to find places in the area where I could find decent records, and there was a place called The Record Collector, and I'm just throwing fucking shade right now, but there's a place down the street on Melrose across the street from Fairfax High School called The Record Collector, and they have a 1-star Yelp review. And I was like, how could a record, like I could understand like maybe a 3-star, people being like, it's not that great, but a 1-star is like aggressive, like there's got to be something wrong with the place if they've got a 1-star review. So I started clicking on the Yelp thing and started reading, and basically from what I gathered from some of these Yelp reviews, the owner of the store is a fucking psychopath. Like some of the Yelp reviews that say, let's see, this place is more like a show-off museum for this guy's stuff. And like there's all these reviews of this guy just like screaming at people. There's one that said that he yelled at them for wearing flip-flops in the store. They were like, "You wearing flip-flops? Get the fuck out of my store!" And he like chased them out. And there was like, there was several reviews from like, mostly women just being like, "This dude made me fucking uncomfortable. Like he was mean and he was a dick." And so I was like, "Well, I gotta go." And so I went in my flip-flops specifically because I wanted to get in a fight with the guy.
So you're baiting him.
Yeah.
I didn't go in there with the intention of baiting him. I was more
The law calls that entrapment.
No, I just went in there to try to find, I was like, based on what I could see from the Yelp reviews, he has a lot of jazz records, a lot of classical, and then hilariously, all of his rock, soul, and country records, like the things that people would actually want to look through, is in the back. He keeps them in the back of the store, and you have to he's like a bridge troll. You have to pass his test, and then he lets you go back and look. But he literally sits in front of the good shit.
Does he give you a quiz about your knowledge?
Kind of.
So it's like a sphinx.
Yeah, he was like a sphinx or a bridge troll. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had to answer the...
What did he ask you?
Well, so when I got there, I wasn't going to try to pick a fight with him, but basically, according to these Yelp reviews, he kind of came off like the soup Nazi. Like that was kind of how it sounded. It was like he has amazing records, but he has to like you, and you have to behave in his store. So when I went in there, first of all, the guy's name is Sanders, and he has a helper whose name is Henry, and Henry is his archivist, and Henry is he's like hunched over. I'm not kidding you. Like if you don't believe me, go there. It's on Melrose.
That's what I was
it's
picturing.
Open.
I was picturing that it was like
He's Igor.
Yeah, I was
He's
picturing
Igor.
like someone who was like maybe like like assisting Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was actually like an Igor type. Like he wasn't that disfigured, but he was like sort of like a hunched over, like hello, and he had a funny voice.
Was this guy a vampire by any?
Well, he was a very New York based vampire, and then Henry was Hispanic, and Henry was like hunched over, and I got in there and he was screaming. Like the owner was in the back and he was on the phone screaming, and he was just like, you tell them I'm not in that business. This is not the business that I'm in. And he was just like yelling in this very like.
And what business is that?
I have no idea, but he screamed at this guy for like 15 minutes. And then Henry, like while I was walking around, Henry was just like, he's like, what are you looking for? And I had read in the reviews that there was one guy who said that he got chased out of the store because he said he was just looking. And they were like, you have to know what you want.
What?
Like you're supposed to come in there with a list of specific titles that you want. So I came in there and I was like,
This place ain't for amateurs.
dude, it is not.
The
Really
guy that owns it sounds like a weird kind of hybrid of Seymour from Ghost World,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
John Cusack from High Fidelity, and the Unabomber. Like it's kind of like
almost perfect, except that he's John Cusack from High Fidelity, but he only loves like Brahms and shit like that. Like he's a classical nerd. All the jazz records and classical records are out front. The shit nobody particularly gives a shit about. You know,
He's one of them old school music snobs.
dude, he said the funniest shit. So I kind of like just talked to the guy after he got off the phone screaming. He was like, what are you looking for? You know, and I knew that he was going to ask me specific titles. So I came with two pretty specific things. Waylon Jennings, Are You Ready for the Country? And the other one was Yusuf Lateef jazz record, an acid jazz album called Auto Physio Psychic. And he fucking had it. Like it's like a very like obscure jazz record. And I was like, I'm gonna blow this dude away. I'm gonna ask him for a really weird jazz album, and it worked. My plan worked perfectly.
I'm surprised
So,
he didn't snap and say, "This isn't real jazz."
Well, no, he liked you, right?
Yeah. No,
So what's the name of this place again?
It's called The Record Collector.
So this episode is brought to you by the Record Collector.
With a very tepid endorsement.
yeah. No,
I'm like, are you afraid of him that he's gonna like somehow like low tech record snob dox you or something? Like,
He doesn't listen to anything that's digital, so we should be fine.
No, that's why I feel more than confident, because he told me, he's like, you see that back there? That's a 1993 Gateway 2000. I bought that computer for $3,200. I don't plan to buy another one until I die.
oh, okay, so he's like on a 14.4 modem. that
Literally
could
on a
possibly-
14K modem.
And like, do you broadcast this in Real Player or like? Or is this not?
It's mostly on Windows Media Player, so I'm one
Okay.
notch after.
Okay, yeah, so probably you're safe.
If you go to Excite Groups, he might have a page for his store.
This podcast is not heard on Much Music, so
Oh, I love much music.
the funniest part of the whole experience. Well, first of all, Henry, whenever you'd ask for something, he's like, "What do you want to see?" And I was like, "What you got for like Willie Nelson?" And instead of just walking me back to the back, which he eventually did let me go back and just peruse. But first, he had Henry go in the back and come out with 30 Willie Nelson albums, like under his arms.
Did
like,
he have Shotgun Willie?
No, I bought Shotgun Willie on Amazon, actually, because I couldn't find it anywhere. But no, he didn't. But he came out with like all this stuff under his arms. He's just like, here you go. I was like, this seems like a really inconvenient way to do it. But I was talking to Sanders, and he goes, oh, yeah, you know, we've been here for 40 years. Michael Jackson used to come in here all the time. He spent $1,300 here one time. It was the best day ever. But
He probably paid their bills for a long time.
Probably. But he goes,
Do you think he gave Michael Jackson the third degree when he came in? To make sure he was a real music fan?
I would hope so. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, because Michael Jackson isn't somebody that goes in with a list. He's just like, I want one of those and one of those.
No, you know what he said he bought?
He
He goes, he bought my entire Calypso section.
really?
That's what he said. He's like, he goes, Michael came in here. He's like, you got any Calypso? I was like, yeah, I got Calypso. And he bought the whole fucking section. It was amazing. I was like,
He bought the entire Mighty Sparrow catalog. He sounds like the owner of the store sounds like a character that Asterios Kokonos would play. You know,
but the funniest shit was he was like, I've been here 40 years. I've been here 40 years, and now it's starting to come back. Everybody wants vinyl again. They're coming back to the black. And I was
Well, you know, once you go black,
I know you come back
can't go
eventually.
back.
so that I presume that means he doesn't carry colored vinyl.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't carry the purple vinyl. or
No,
the,
he doesn't have the lavender marble reissue. Or anything.
Yeah.
But that was when he said that, he's like, people are going back to the black. It was too much.
it sounds like you and this guy were fast friends, Rivers.
We kind of were like, if
Igor ever dies from, you know, some kind of spinal condition or anything like
Vitamin
that.
D deficiency because he lives in the closet and doesn't go outside.
He falls from a bell tower or something like this. You all set, Rivers?
Henry, make me my oatmeal.
No, he kept doing that. He going, head right. Just make him walk around the store. But yeah, they're coming back to the black. It's happening.
I think it's awesome that he has a henchman. It's hard to get those these days.
Very loyal henchman. I couldn't tell who was older. It was fucking perfect. But it was great because if he's the soup Nazi in this scenario, that makes me Kramer, and I'll take any opportunity to be
Well,
Kramer.
just don't get on the stage at the Laugh Factory.
I won't go near the Laugh Factory. I promise.
Stay in contact with your mind. Stay in contact with your mind. Communication, a revelation.
I don't even know how to get into what we're actually talking about
Yeah,
today.
because one of the things is that what we like to do is we like to have themes on the episodes, like things that are the guests are into. And it's also good when we have themes where it's something that we know very little about and the guests can educate us
Can
on
teach
it.
us. Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of it because my knowledge of the theme today is limited at best. So
What we're talking about is fan fiction.
Oh, my knowledge on that isn't limited.
Oh, what is your...
It's all erotic, right?
no, it's not.
Sometimes.
No, I mean, a lot of it is. I wouldn't say I'm like so much a fan fiction expert, as much as like when I was a kid, I was writing a lot of fan fiction, but it didn't have that designation back then. It was just like fantasy fulfillment.
Yeah, of
but
course.
it wasn't like a culture. It was like me in my room alone in 5th grade, like this is what I'm doing, you know.
I think a lot of kids used to do that. Like you grow up and you'd make your own stories with like G.I. Joe or Transformers or whatever was the big thing.
Sure, but mine was like me in it.
Oh, you put yourself
I'm
in
the
it.
main character.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the Mary Sue, isn't it?
What?
Y'all don't know that? The Mary Sue, it's an old fan fiction concept. It means a character that's a stand-in for the author. So, like, if you read, like, a Star Trek thing, and it's like, Lieutenant, Jeff Ferguson joined Starfleet that day, and everyone was in awe of his good looks. And it's typically, like, the stand-in for the author.
Oh, okay.
Right, and that person is like amazing and flawless, and you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
But-
like Homer's in the Odyssey at one point, right? Doesn't he like come into the court of Calypso and start singing the praises of Odysseus?
I don't know. It could be Tiresias. You get the blind people mixed up or something like that. I don't think Homer, does he actually show up?
I believe so,
I
actually.
think he does in
right?
Odyssey, yeah. Because
Virgil shows up in the Aeneid, which is incredibly
Well,
anachronistic.
Virgil shows
yeah.
up in Dante, too. So
Yeah.
Virgil really gets around.
Right. Well, he also shows up at like convention halls and stuff with his card table. He's trying to sell his photos for too much money.
I would like to read Odyssey fan fiction.
There actually was something like that because there was they call it the Homeric cycle. There were a lot of other poems related to the stories of Odysseus and Achilles and all that, which weren't written by Homer, but were part of that
that's
tradition.
true. I feel like the New Testament is Old Testament fan fiction.
you could put it that way because the book of Revelations kind of is. When you think John's sitting on Patmos, you understand, exiled, got nothing to do. I'm going to write some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Why not?
Supposedly breathing in the vapors from some sort of geothermic vent that would send him into a trip.
Does that explain what he saw?
That was like the History Channel thing I saw when I was 8.
Oh, see,
you
well,
remember.
yeah. Did F. Lee Ernie, did the DI host it there?
You're talking about mail call?
Well, and everything there is hosted by a drill instructor, right? On the History Channel, right? I don't watch that shit. I watch PBS if I want to see anything good about history.
I always wondered if the Corinthians or whatnot ever read the letters that Paul sent.
Or they just file them away. And when they were
"Oh, this
compiling the
crank
New
Paul
Testament, well, we have a lot by this guy, Paul.
Yeah, that's
He's like the guy that always writes in the letters to the editor at the local newspaper.
Timothy's like, he wrote to me twice. I ain't read either of them.
that was the Dead Sea Scroll caves was just their junk mail folder.
Well, the Dead Sea Scrolls was like fan fiction for, who was it, the Essenes or one of them religious groups back then?
I think it's the scenes, yeah.
Job. Even the Old Testament, Job is kind of like a fan fiction in a way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't. I mean, it's become like more of a concept now that people put it online and like are doing it under. I feel like there's a lot of like people. I don't know. Like fan fiction still seems like it's a sort of like I know we were kind of joking about like 80s, 90s internet, but I feel like a lot of it still has that feel to it. Like it has a very Usenet feel. I don't think I've ever used that phrase before. But you know, like people that still have like fake names, like that are based on like it's like, you know, Cobra LARPer 86 or like whatever. Like
What did you? First of all, where did you grow up? In Long Island? Is that
yeah,
what you
I
said?
grew up in Long Beach, Long Island.
Oh, okay. And growing up, you were like into Disney stuff like that.
Not Disney per se. I was like a big like theatery singing kid.
Okay.
And
What is that?
theater?
Theater.
Not
theatery.
Deetery.
I heard Deetery. Okay.
Yes,
no,
Broadway and stuff. It can lead to that. And there's a lot of good-looking women in
Lynn
there.
wasn't walking around with like a black turtleneck and black pants.
Yeah,
just
I was
dancing.
like a super
That's what I heard.
Mike Myers inspired. No.
I had the monkey.
Now is the time in our childhood where we dance.
No, I was just really into like singing, like not so much Broadway, but just like pop music and like, you know, singing and like being like, I'm in the talent show and I'm gonna sing Greatest Love of All. I'm the best little singer.
Did you ever do the talent show at school, or was
course.
it okay?
You're talking about somebody who got into the Nassau County talent show, not just the local talent
Whoa!
show.
Word?
And what was your
Hell
your act that took you to the stratospheres of countywide competition?
I think I sang Memory from Cat. No, that was somebody else. Sorry. I think I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That was my
These are all the classics, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah. So I was like super obsessed with Mickey Mouse Club, like the new '90s Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh, with Timberlake and Gosling and Aguilera and Spears.
Yeah. Although that they were like, I'm a little too
Ben
old to like
Covett.
have that be my era.
Oh, so it was like what, the generation right before that, I guess. Or?
Yeah, like I think we stopped getting Disney Channel, or I like grew out of it right before they came on.
Oh, okay.
So it's like other people you haven't heard of.
Oh God, they probably all live in like around here too.
Well, okay, I'm trying to think. There's some people like by the time like Carrie Russell from Felicity.
Okay, yeah.
She was on it. Tony Lucha, who was like on The Voice, and he was her boyfriend at the time, if you know who he is. This is relevant because this is in the fan fiction that I have.
Oh, you were writing like Mickey Mouse Club
Yeah.
stuff too. Oh my God.
Okay, so
That's-
this doesn't have a net or anything like that in it.
No. I'm like,
Or Spinning Marty.
no.
You never wrote any Spinning Marty fan fiction.
No, this wasn't the 50s. Like when I was obsessed with it because I wanted to be like there were comedy sketches, but even at the time when I was like 10 years old, I was like, these comedy sketches suck. But like they were like singing and dancing and they were like best friends. So I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. And I remember because they actually had auditions in New York City at some point, and I was like going out of my mind, and I was like, Mom, you have to take me. I was like there was like no doubt in my mind I was going to become a Musketeer if my mom brought me. Like it didn't even occur to me that like audition would not succeed. Like I was like, this is absolutely the outcome.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, I don't think so because I don't want to move to Orlando even if you get it. Your dad has a job here.
She's probably right.
Smart lady, yeah.
She like was totally not a stage mom.
Yeah.
Like any opportunities I got, she was like, I don't know, that doesn't seem very practical. And I was like so angry. I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
I was like, no, but I will support you. I will be the person supporting this family. She was like, I'm really not that into that idea since you're a child. And I was like,
Wow,
what
she sounds highly reasonable.
I know, and I was like, what a terrible mother.
Yeah, of course, at the time. Fuck you.
And
Yeah.
yet it turns out
Yeah.
she saved you from being in rehab right now.
and saved her from growing up in Florida, which is, I can attest to it. Not fun.
Oh, you're from Florida.
Pat's in rehab because of it.
Were you in Orlando?
Outside Orlando.
Okay, so you're around the whole Disney.
I mentioned this
Do you
before.
have any Lou Pearlman run-ins?
Yeah, many. We lost our life savings to his Ponzi schemes. No, I actually, my parents, especially my dad, wasn't a big theme park person. So I actually didn't go to Disney World until I was, I'd say 16, which is kind of like people that live down there. It's either you never go to Disney or you go to Disney all the time because you get the yearly pass. We never went because my dad wasn't into the lines. He wasn't into the being out in the sun or anything like that. Big SeaWorld guy. So Blackfish really messed him up.
Man, I have a friend whose wife just became head trainer of SeaWorld in Texas, and it's like awful because he'll post stuff and he'll just be like, congratulations to my beautiful wife for getting blah blah blah, and then people just start talking shit about SeaWorld, and I'm like, dude, just leave him alone. She's just trying to do her job.
So did the Nazi.
They were also just following orders. Yes, you're right.
Is there Nazis at SeaWorld?
It's a very big Nazi. No, I don't know. Contingent.
What's
those
Anheuser-Busch tie-ins?
Last night I was standing outside of Vidiots down in Santa Monica, and this guy was walking by on his cell phone, and he was just screaming, he was yelling into the phone. He's like, oh yeah, man. Yeah, this is how it fucking starts. There was 10 million Nazis in the U.S. before World War II, and just like kept walking. And I was like, I think he's talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Was he talking about Trump or was he talking about the German population?
Well, that was what I was saying. That's what I told Monica. I was like, did you fucking hear that? And she was like, no. I was like, I think he just said there were 10 million. I think there was probably 10 million Germans. And
there was probably even more.
And Henry Ford, but there was not 10 million Nazis in America before World
there
War
were
II.
hardly any.
Don't forget about Limburg. Limburg was in the big
Well, he was more like a isolationist.
Yeah.
But there was the German American bend, and that was about it.
Yeah, but I was much into. I actually like going to Disney World, and I really want to go to Disneyland, but it's always just such a project to go down there.
Yeah, I've been there once, but I didn't go to Disney World until I was 26.
What did you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
Where did you go hit all the parks, or was there?
Yeah, I went there for a week.
What was your favorite?
Oh my god, why am I blanking? It's actually called Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I liked it.
With the poachers.
With the poachers.
But even though I was like, okay, I need to figure out if these animals are actually being treated well. But I don't know. I liked it a lot. Like for a second, I was like, what if I moved there and became a cast member? But I was like, that's not really what I want. I just want to go back in time.
If you were to become a cast member, which one would you like to be, or which one do you think you would be? Or
I mean, I don't want to be like somebody who has to like have something on their head all day.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be a
Like-
dancer in the Tarzan show. That's what you want. They look like they're having a fucking
I want
blast.
to. I just want to. Yeah, I want to sing.
Yeah,
basically.
totally.
That's like my childhood wish fulfillment. But yeah, no, I was like, why would I quit my job that I had a good full-time job? Like, why would I go and do that? But yeah, it was more like I was never like a huge Disney Mickey Mouse fan. I was just more like I'm gonna be a star
Yeah.
kind of a kid.
Did you take like tap or?
I did. I took tap for a while,
Yeah.
but
I always love. I have a friend who took tap extensively as a kid, and whenever she was drinking, that was the first thing that happened. She would just like tap dance.
my
And it was
God.
hilarious.
yeah, I never got that advanced. I was just like, shuffle step ball change. I don't remember. Okay, like
I don't know if she got that advanced either, but it was just one of those like, I'm doing it.
I'm drunk and I'm gonna put quarters on my shoes the way they used to do it.
That's pretty much how she sounds too. Yeah, she's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm an okay dancer, but I was just more of like, I'm going to be Christina Aguilera. I mean, we didn't think that because she wasn't a thing back then, but just that general idea. It's
Right.
like, I'm going to be Mariah Carey, or I'm going to be.
And so did you write stuff about the Disney Club?
Oh, yeah, I wrote.
It's the Mickey Mouse Club.
I'm sorry, the Mickey Mouse Club. My bad.
You get it right, Ruth.
Get it right or
I'll
pay
never.
the price.
Yeah,
I'd be really angry if you said that to me in 5th grade.
Because Rivers, who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me?
MICKEYMOUSE.
Yeah, forever we'll hold our manners high, Rivers. So get it right.
Speaking of old internet stuff, I remember getting it was like a small program because that's how you had to like trade viral stuff back in
Yeah.
the day. But it was like Mickey Mouse like flipping you off, and the song was like MONDAYSUCKS. Monday sucks. Monday sucks.
Was Garfield involved in this in any particular
Was there
way?
any good? Was there any good Ziggy memes in there?
Oh shit! If they are, send them to me. But don't send me none of them viruses like you was sending.
Yeah,
people.
don't open an EXE.
Oh yeah, here we go. I could actually
I
find.
got all these funnies with Kathy in them.
Oh, I'd read those.
What's the worst day of the week that gets us all depressed? MONDAYSUCKS.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was like
If they had the internet in like the 60s, it probably would have been a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's probably gotten so much mileage on like Monday Zoo Crew. Like, you know,
Oh, I guarantee you.
it's like a Zoo Crew like staple. That and the Phil Collins in the air tonight, but with farts.
Well, the 90s one, kind of updated the song a little bit and made it into a rap.
There's been a lot of incarnations of the Mickey Mouse Club, I think, since the first.
There was
Yeah.
50s, then there was a 70s one short-lived, and then the 90s.
There's been foreign ones, too. Like, there was an Argentine one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know because one of the girls I liked on one of these soap operas was on the Mickey Mouse. Her name was Valeria Britos, and I later found out she was the star of their Mickey Mouse Club down there.
And so do you have some of the
Yeah,
Mickey
so
Mouse
just
stuff?
to give you like a little more context, I think I was like 10 to 12, and I was so into this, but like I couldn't talk to anybody else about it for some reason. Like I remember like being in 5th grade, and like this kid Brian like was talking about it to his friend. He's like, it's pretty cool, it's okay, and I was like watching, like dying inside. Like I was like, I want to talk about it, but I don't know if I can contain myself if I start talking. So I was just like, because I couldn't just like talk about it and be cool and just be like, yeah, I kind of watch it, that's cool. Like I knew I would like start flipping out, and I was just like, so I just like was watching from afar, the way like you're watching someone that you have a crush on. I didn't have a crush on him, but I was just like, he's talking about MMC, oh god. And I was like having like an existential crisis that he was talking about it, but it's like, I can't let him know how I feel about it. And the way I felt about it was that I had written 391 pages of fan fiction.
What? 391?
I know that because I don't have it with me. I sometimes bring it, like, but I have it in New York. I have a Mead notebook that's all beat up, and it says pages 191 to 391 of MMC forever.
Holy fuck. That's amazing.
awesome.
That's amazing.
It goes on forever too, apparently, because there's hundreds of pages.
391, 190. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have all the older pages, but I have 191 to 391.
Oh my god.
A lot of times, what else do kids have to do except?
No, I wrote
this?
Star Wars stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did stuff like that, and it's only because of the internet now people realize. You mean other people did this too?
Yeah.
Right. Like I was just like alone, like sad, like I can't talk to anybody about my secret. You know.
I wrote poetry.
I just wrote like, Luke Skywalker is on the bridge of a whatever.
I just made them up. I never wrote them down.
Yeah, I made up a lot of stuff. So, like, being a wrestling fan, you would do that from time to time.
Sure.
I had a lot of Hey Vernon's Ernest, like, alternate spec scripts running around in my head, but I was more of a poetry guy. More poems.
Keats fan fiction.
It was more like more lighthearted.
Shel Silverstein kind of guy.
Yeah, maybe maybe like James Thurber or something like that.
Okay.
Did he write poems? I don't even know.
Hey, I should come on here. We should have a poetry day.
A poetry slam, a 10-year-old Pat poetry slam.
Everybody comes in with a poem. We should do that sometime. Everybody comes in with a poem. You can bring one of your kiddie ones if you want, or write a new one special.
Oh my god!
So do you have an excerpt?
Yes, I do, and I have to preface it by saying it's somewhat disturbing.
I'm so excited.
It's dirty, right?
Yeah. Not all of it was, like, not everything I wrote was, but I mean, a big part of it was that all of the Musketeers were in love with me, obviously, to use your Mary Sue kind of terminology. And it was disturbing because I was like maybe 10 to 12, but like my boyfriend during most of the fiction was Kevin, who was 18. And like that, but I wrote that part into the story where it's like, oh, it's so wrong, and I don't know if this is right, and like, but we love each other so much, that's all that matters, kind of a thing,
Right.
But like sometimes we'd break up just so I had a chance to like get with some of the other guys, but then like, we were always basically together. So this is like the last pages of it. And what happened is that Kevin and I think are breaking up because he's 18, so he's aged out of the club. So he has to like leave because he's like done with school and high school and graduating and stuff. And we've been like, but I like feel like he's leaving me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I have gone to Tony's house, Tony Lucha, who like I said, I found out time was dating Carrie Russell, and he's been on The Voice with Christina Aguilera. If you want to look that up, and he's a singer-songwriter now. And I didn't really have a crush on him at the time, but like
he loves you.
But he loves
because you're the shit,
right? But he loves because I'm the best 12-year-old, and so I go to his house to do a school project, and he has a girlfriend named Tasha who won't kiss him because she's a prude. So this kind of goes from there. That's the background.
That's big stuff when you're 10.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's not much of a girlfriend otherwise.
I know, but I mean,
hand holding's is a big step when you're 10. Like when you're 10, you're hand holding. That's
huge.
You're the king,
advanced.
and you flex that. Your PDA, you flex that as like a status signal whenever you're on the
playground.
I would have been terrified to even do like for context. Also, I was 12.
holding no hands.
Yeah,
so that's just all
when I was 10, I was a shit. I'll take Transformers over hand holding. Other things maybe not, but I was too young for that.
Yeah,
I channeled it all into kickball. You know what I mean? Just,
My mom used to run an after-school program, and her punishment to unruly boys when they were fighting was she would make them hold hands.
Oh, boy.
Like, she would make them
Very,
sit there.
very heteronormative.
Yeah, exactly. It
That's a lot there.
That's kind of sick, Rose.
Hey, it's not. Hey, talk to Gail about this. I don't know. This was her idea.
She's
If this was
wonderful, though.
if this was
Gail,
the
you're
Middle
wonderful.
East or North Africa, that's just a normal sign of friendship.
That
you
is
know?
true, yeah. And they kiss each other in the Bible, too. But let's hear the fan fiction,
Yes.
because I want to see who Tony
Okay.
gets with.
Oh, me, obviously. But in real
Spoiler
life, I
alert.
had not kissed anybody.
Okay.
And also, for context about why I kind of knew stuff about sex, was that I had found my parents' porn when I was in second grade. So I had some idea about sex, but no real experience. Okay, it was an accident. Jesus, I'm embarrassed to even admit it to myself. Me, Rona, and JC were going to meet at Tony's house. It was incredible by Florida standards.
Dude, this is already the best thing I've ever heard.
Pat, you'd have to be the judge of whether or not it
I have
was.
never been to Florida.
Those first three lines, I tell you, that's like Neil Gaiman level.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You were 10.
That's really good.
No, I think I was 12 by then because it was 10 to
still.
12. Okay, totally.
Prodigy.
We got to hear more.
Totally out there. The outside was perfectly country. The classic rider and horse-drawn carriage on the doors, a squat thatched roof, a warm teal blue. I rang the doorbell, which played, "Stop, I didn't make this up, Home on the Range." Tone. This is such a weird detail.
Wait, the doorbell
Played Home on the Range?
That's fucking incredible.
I don't know how I got that. Okay.
This is a lot of detail that doesn't seem like it's in the TV show.
No, it's not canon.
He must live in Ocala.
Tony swung the door open, looking super cute in his champion sweats. Hi.
When was this written?
Early 90s?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, champion sweats.
It was that or Bum Athletic.
Yeah, I was going to say, was this the late 80s even? Just
Maybe. I mean, the show started in '89, but I don't think I wrote this. I wrote this later than that. Hi, come in. I must admit, he is very cute. No, Dalmatian puppies are cute. Tony's gorgeous. I stepped in. The room was awesome. My room, he explained. At my surprised look, he added, easier to sneak in and out. So apparently his room was the living room. I nodded, sympathizing totally. But doesn't it bother you that everyone who comes in the house passes through? Not really. Hey, doesn't it smell like lilac?
Dude, this is so great.
This is amazing.
I can't believe this.
I like the Disney reference in there too with the Dalmatian puppy.
Huh? That had come from nowhere. I blushed. Oh, my perfume, I gasped. I put on too much. It fades. He stepped closer. No, it's just nice. He was so sweet. I looked around the house. I mean, his room. A bare metallic silver bed, strangely shaped beanbag chairs, posters of every awesome band, Pearl Jam, etc.
So this was 91, 92.
But what's funny is I remember in the actual written out version, I had scribbled in Pearl Jam, etc. in a different color.
Like in The Martian.
Yeah, I had come back a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Pearl Jam was a little after the era of
Yeah,
Champion.
so,
and
yeah,
was.
so it was she crossed out Ugly Kid Joe and put in
Yeah,
Pearl Jam,
yeah.
etc.
Yeah, I think Pearl Jam was when I was getting a little bit cooler,
Right.
And liking rock. Okay,
Yeah.
just really cool. Are JC and Rona here yet? Nuh-uh. The last time I was in a guy's room, you look kind of sad. He said softly. It's just memories, Kevin. I poured out the whole story. He really listened. It was 15 minutes later. He had a friendly arm around me. Hey, where's JC and Rona? I have no idea. The spoiler, they're not going to show up. Oh, and JC is JC Chazé, who is
Was
in
in
Sync,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was also on
And Rona, she's a firebrand. She'll whip out a knife, the drop of a hat.
How are you and Tasha, who is his girlfriend? I asked. Great, fine. You don't like her, do you? He observed. Oh, Tony, no, she's just it was the kind of sentence you had to finish. Immature, he finished. Damn, she won't even French me.
This is so great.
I could easily imagine little Tasha a prude, but I didn't say as much. I'm sorry, Lynn. I put you in a weird position. No, it's okay. You need a friend. What
kind of a character assassination on Tasha.
It's so messed up. Okay. What a fucked up thing to say. I blushed again. He leaned toward me and his lips touched mine quickly, almost imperceptibly.
Dude, that's the best romance novel line.
Thanks. It's nice to have a friend. I was kind of surprised, but maybe this was just his way of showing affection. Duh. We should start our project, I said. as a prissy geek. He nodded. A newspaper written by past presidents. Heavy.
Chester A. Arthur's column is a hoot.
I like how I'm like, but I'm really dorking out about the project, like in the middle of it. Like in real, I'm like, that's gonna be a cool project to do.
Calvin Coolidge would make a great agony auntie. You'd never expect it.
You know, Nixon's football articles were surprisingly good.
Reagan's movie reviews, not so much.
Yeah, not really.
so much.
Here's Jackson with the dueling report.
All in
Alexander
one
Hamilton
era.
won't read that.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton won't be reading that one.
He was like, shit, I lost again. Oh, I'm dead.
I just kept thinking of his lips, perfectly round.
What?
You know, when you have like a big circle of a mouth.
Yeah, like a lamp free.
It's very sexy. A tingle ran through me. I coughed and looked at a blank sheet for an answer. I cleared my throat. Washington's era is era 1. Washington through Adams. I was nervous. He was studying my face, memorizing it. You remind me of someone I don't know. He stopped abruptly. Okay, I like writing about the Kennedys from beyond the grave, or maybe his assassination from his point of view and his affair with Marilyn Monroe. There's a lot we can do with Johnson.
That's true.
Which one?
We could impeach one of them for violation of the tenure of office Act.
I mean, Lyndon Johnson was really into his own Johnson, so you know.
Who wasn't?
I have no idea if I knew any of this, or I was just like, this is an important detail. His eyes lit up. They were an incredibly clear blue. That's really good. How about advice for the lovelorn from Nixon?
God damn it! This is.
I really
great.
like this president's paper idea. I think that deserves its own spin-off.
Yeah, it deserves its own
series.
tangent, kind of spin-off fan fiction of its own.
Nixon at the beach and shit.
I'm like just as interested as I'm writing this in this presidential paper as the sex part.
Yeah. Nixon's beach party and he's in a full suit on the beach. You ever seen that picture?
No.
There's a photo of Nixon down in San Clemente at the Western White House walking down the beach in a full suit because the man knew how to fucking relax.
You don't know what's on underneath.
Get over here, Pat. Put some sunscreen on my neck.
Where's Checkers? Where's Spiro T. Agnew?
Okay, Nixon. Maybe Nixon's tips on spying.
He wrote it, but 20 minutes of it disappeared.
I was getting into this. You inspire me, he said, his voice dead serious. I blushed. Damn. He had an effect on me. I couldn't deny it, and a nice one, too. Inspire? In what way? To do this, he whispered, and just gently pushed a strand of hair behind my ear. He played with the lobe.
What a Lothario.
He's like at least 15, so he knows.
Oh, yeah.
He leaned over, gently nibbled on it. Then he planted tiny kisses down my neck, stroked my neck, my back. I just stood there mesmerized. He wasn't doing anything, yet I was so melting. Then he touched my thigh. I shivered and mumbled, "Oh, Tony, I have to go. I can't." Tasha.
Don't stop now.
I picked up my notebook and started out the door. He just stood watching me. It creeped me out. He didn't try to stop me because he knew. Oh, he knew. So did I, even as I left. I started down the concrete steps, but even then, I turned back, looked at him. I walked back. He closed the door. He put his arms around me, but this time I knew his intentions were more than friendly. He pulled me close to him. Finally, after an eternity, he kissed me harder and harder. I would French him, and he knew it. So he did. We kissed for a long time, pressed hard together. We fell onto his bed, kissing on a bed.
That's an album title, by the way.
It sounds like
a polite euphemism from the old days.
Kissing on a bed is very incriminating. Looking straight at his front door, I felt nervous. He was very fast. That hand went straight to my thigh, but he stopped, found my shirt front, felt it, rejected it, and pulled it off. Unhooked my bra. He felt me up, but it was so different from Kevin. So gentle, so sweet. He played with my nipple.
Did Kevin not do that?
I think he was just more like a typical teenage boy who would just like grab you.
You just pulling Teg?
Yeah, but this Tony had finesse. A finesse that 12-year-old me just wasn't used to.
The kissing on a bed part made me think it sounded like a really like kind of alternately censored version of Sister Ray, which is like kissing on a bed.
God, this is gross when you think about it. He played with my nipples until they stood out straight.
Push the little daisies.
Gross or extremely erotic?
It felt so good. I stroked his chest, his shirt off. It was only fair. Women's lib and all that crap.
What? Oh, Jesus! This is amazing.
Are you a genius? That's my first question.
No, okay. I was going to observe this later on, but I'm just, since it opened up, this is like incredibly advanced.
Yeah.
But it still has like the 12-year-old wisdom, but written in the skills.
It's fucking
that
crazy.
are
This is amazing.
really-
It really
The
is.
little asides are what make it funny.
Yeah, it's like the details, and then like things that get shot off, like Pearl Jam and etc. That's just so good.
Women's lib and all that is fucking
I know. I'm like so angry
hilarious.
at my lack of feminism.
No, I'm not. That makes the story really entertaining.
I had a very.
You don't want to be like the other one who won't French.
Right, I know, because she's probably a feminist. So when he's okay, where was
Well,
I?
no, she's more of a feminist of the Dworkin variety. You're more of the fourth wave. But.
Yeah, I don't even know, but this was like pre me like listening to Bikini Kill and stuff. Okay, so when he started going a sloppy second, bringing his lips down to my breast, sucking on my nipples, the whole thing. I could just imagine what a hickey I would have, but who would see, right? I had just made up my mind we would not go any further. No way in hell. What kind of slut would he think I was? He was obviously testing me. I'd learned you can't let them get too far or they don't respect you. I don't put out. I am a virgin. I pushed him off me. He understood I've already been further than your average 13-year-old.
There's too much of that chastity going around in this Mickey Mouse Club. There really is.
What is a Disney property,
Yeah.
But in real life, look what we were doing. I/he slipped my jeans off. I was almost embarrassed.
I/he. That's great.
Both of us, yeah, together.
Yeah,
At the same time. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was almost embarrassed. I felt like I had to pretend it was a bikini bottom. When a guy gets down to his underwear, it don't mean give me a peck on the cheek.
It usually means I'm going to sleep.
Or I just got done mowing the lawn.
Yeah. Or it's hot out and it's not air conditioning.
It's when adulthood ruins your youthfulness. Just
Yeah, but I like that. There's an outlook on the world like it's all fresh and exciting
Yeah, I
yet
know.
in this, and then you get out there and you learn. No,
Yeah.
I never do get defected Mickey Mouse Club.
when a man takes his underwear off, it means you just fix something in the house and football's on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say we hadn't gotten to the draw taken off part yet because that's further.
Well, it's happening right now.
Okay.
Oh Jesus!
Okay. He started teasing me, pulling at my underwear. Pulled it off. He knew right where to rub on my clit.
Oh my god, dude! Damn. All right.
I didn't really know any about that. I just knew that existed.
Yeah.
I jumped almost out of the bed. It felt so good. Then he brought his mouth down to it and started working his tongue in and out of my clit. I don't know. I couldn't help thinking he'd done it before. But it's not the kind of thing you discuss! ! He started sucking hard until I came. I remembered a story I'd once... Oh my god, no, I'm not even reading this part. It's ridiculous. Okay. No, it's like a weird aside.
No,
It's like a David Foster Wallace footnote.
It's a weird aside. I remembered a story I'd once heard about a high school girl who wanted a guy to eat her out, so she packed tuna up herself.
What?
Did she put mayonnaise up in there too?
And then I wrote, I hoped whatever they did, it was safe. Dolphin safe. First of all, this ties in with the SeaWorld theme. Second of all, why did I go off in the middle of the sex scene?
And dolphin safe tuna was extremely topical at that
I know.
time.
Yeah, that's right. That early 90s environmental thing.
Yeah, where it's Charlie Tuna being like, we are dolphin safe, but not safe for me.
Sorry, Charlie.
But this was like a real thing. I was worried. Those poor things, flipper in a can.
Oh god, there's more about the dolphin tuna.
There's a lot. That's why I was like, I'm skipping this. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, there's a lot more about dolphin safe tuna, but I'm skipping. Okay.
This is why it went on for 300 pages. It's like Herodotus. There are a lot of digressions about
president newspapers and
dolphins.
safe tuna. Okay. I guess he expected...
It sounds like a Dennis Who would be the editor?
Well, Dennis Miller, was that after? I don't know. I remember watching
That would have
Dennis
been
Miller.
right in the middle. Yeah,
Confirmed,
that'd be him on Weekend Update.
Okay, because I remember watching him when he had
89
his
to
own
91?
show with my dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. He had a show on Fox right before you turned.
Was
all...
it? I thought there was an HBO show. Did I make that up?
Oh, it was. He did
HBO.
HBO
Right.
shows or specials
Yeah.
or something like
He had the
that.
Dennis Miller show on HBO. Yeah,
Yeah,
before he
that's what
turned,
I'm thinking of.
Before he turned all loony right wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he expected me to suck him too. I was so nervous, I was practically pissing in ... the bed with anticipation. Get it? Because I don't have pants on. Okay. He took it out. It was really long, really hard. I had no idea what to do. He gave me a "do you know how" look, and I just made my lips into a little O and let out a breath. What? Okay.
So you don't.
But I was really into like round.
good, 'cause
But I was
you're
into
12.
round mouths.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've established round mouths.
It's handy for the kind of sex that they have here.
Yeah, it's like Burroughs would do that. He would like repeat, thematics.
Yeah, it's a really important-
anatomical.
If I could find a
thematics.
woman with a round mouth like that, I'd be happy the rest of my life.
He jammed it in, and I started sucking hard until I tasted cum. It wasn't bad or gross, just really strange. We took turns until I was so weak I could barely move. We were totally naked. I suddenly saw the next logical step. I was not being deflowered, I resolved firmly. Oh, please, think Nancy Reagan.
Whoa.
Because it was a just say no was a big thing.
Well, she was deflowered, though.
I get it, but if there's any way to kill the mood, think Nancy Reagan.
Nancy Reagan.
Wait, okay, so here's a funny
Especially if you're thinking about smoking crack.
Oh, I said, yeah, just so you know, because I'm going to say,
Yeah,
because
just say
Nancy
no.
Reagan was deflowered, because remember, Ronald Reagan had that son that was a ballet dancer and all that
Oh
shit?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
but this was
Ronnie,
she was big
the
into
Nader
just
supporter,
saying no
yeah.
at this point. So I wrote, "Oh please, think Nancy Reagan," but more akin to Ronald. I forgot quickly. That's such a mean joke.
No, that's a really good one.
That's a really great joke.
Jokes like that were really big then, too. Reagan forgetting things and
Yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that. Yeah, that was very contemporary. I like that.
Thanks. That's a good 12-year-old joke. But that's actually not a bad joke.
That's a great joke. Yeah.
It was looking for an opening, but first he looked at me asking. I was scared. I wanted him so much, but I couldn't think. Yes, I whispered. And he kissed me in a way that made me incredibly glad. Not that I'd been pressured, it had been totally my decision. Been? Not yet. We were just waiting for what? Fires? Fireworks? Flames? Something? I don't know. We just kept kissing for a long time, but I was ready for him, dying for him. He put himself in me and I started to bleed. Cherry pop.
Oh my God.
I screamed. I started rocking up and down as he kept going in and out, in and out. He came in me and I felt so warm and sticky, the cum all inside me traveling up me.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Is that how it feels?
You were 12.
I didn't know anything when I was
I was
12.
gonna say, dude, I didn't know fucking. Yeah, I grew up in the goddamn South where they're just like, Jesus said. That's all we got.
I don't think I had
We just
sex
got
ed.
we just got slides.
We had a woman who came in. She was from the Lee County Abstinence Council, and she had a piece of paper that was like that flame paper that just like as soon as you
Flash
put
paper.
flash
Yeah.
paper. She had a piece of flash paper, and she just held it up, and she goes, "This is Fred and Wilma." All right,
Flintstones?
Yeah, she goes.
What?
This is Fred and Wilma. They are a virgin 8th grade couple, and this is sex. And she held out a match, and she lit the match, and she goes, "Now this is what happens when you apply sex to Fred and Wilma's relationship." And it was just, and a huge fireball just burst out in just
Well, at
into
least
the
they
air.
had special effects.
Well, that was
like,
it.
well, shit, there's fireballs in this at least.
Dude, it's the same reason.
Pete's looking at anatomical charts any day.
It's the same reason that people of that age join the fucking Boy Scouts, is because they come in with a flint and steel and they go, "Look, you can make sparks and shit if you just sign up." Like they sold
Appealing to the pyromaniac and everyone.
For real, that's the whole thing. The
That's-
abstinence class
yeah,
is just
'cause
like,
that's when I
you guys
was-
like fire?
Yeah, because when I was 12, like I don't know.
I wouldn't have known any of this shit at 12. It's fucking
Yeah,
incredible.
because like when I was 12, when we had sex ed, it was very STD centric.
Yeah.
Because they did they'd show us the slides of people that would get venereal disease and decide just not to treat it for 12 years, you know?
Oh, so they went blind and they were like,
Oh yeah, and then it's just like all sorts of just
Yeah,
grossness,
yeah,
bubonic plague of
what used to
the
be
crotch. You know?
Yeah,
It's
what
just like-
used to be their crotch looks like they fell off a motorcycle.
Yeah, and then they would do the thing where it's like you had the test tube and it has a clear fluid in it, like it looks like water.
Okay.
And then you're supposed to swap fluids, so you put your liquid into someone else's test tube, and you combine them, and then you share them.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was always awkward because it was always like a thing where like some guy'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a stud. I got 8," and then at the end they would put another solution in there, and magically everybody's test tube would turn pink usually.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was that's how AIDS spreads. Because if you're pink, you have AIDS.
What?
You know.
Oh God.
Did they put Pepto-Bismol in
It was like a weird sort of thing where the chemical reaction.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so like 1 or 2 people had, not water. They had, some other.
Yeah, water.
So they were
AIDS.
trying to teach AIDS. I thought they were trying to teach conception or something.
No, they
like that.
were very STD centric.
Yeah.
It was like hellfire and brimstone. I don't know if it was like.
No,
that
I
in the
remember
north.
like being terrified of getting AIDS.
But you'd be terrified of also getting
Although
like
this apparently not in
arcane
this.
ones.
Oh no, yeah.
I'm not. This is an AIDS.
Well, they'd probably screen you to get into the Mickey Mouse Club. So
Yeah, but do they do regular testing?
that's a fair point.
Well, they're only like they're not even Frenching and shit, so it's usually not an issue.
Right,
Yeah.
and we know he's not having sex with Tasha. So like,
Yeah.
he must have had sex with other people. Then.
How's he gonna go back to Tasha after you?
I mean, okay,
You've left a trail of broken hearts all over the Magic
Well,
Kingdom.
when you're the best Mouseketeer,
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
You're
Obviously,
free
I was
to
the
do
best.
that sort of thing.
I was
Yeah.
the best Mouseketeer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Completely obvious. Okay, so this is toward the end. Okay, so I'll go through the last part.
this is utterly fascinating.
it's pretty damn sexy
I was
too. At
gonna
parts.
say, yeah.
I totally have a boner. I started
You're
rocking.
not the only one.
I started rocking up and down as he kept going in and out, in and out. He came in me and I felt so warm and sicky. The cum all inside me traveling up me. Don't stop, Tony, so he didn't. By the time we finished, I was exhausted. It must have been 3 hours later and he was still coming.
There it is. I was like, when does this highly mature story turn back into 12-year-old?
Can I say something?
That's
Can I say something on
hilarious.
that? I've read some Ed and Eddie. I've read Ed and Eddie erotic fan fiction. And I don't want to be too indelicate, but it seems kids don't understand that, and they think it just keeps going on like a faucet
I
or
didn't
something.
Pat has stood up. He has walked out onto my balcony.
And he is jumping off.
He is jumping off, and he is dead. Dude, that's so
Next
funny.
week we'll have Kyle Clark.
Yeah, Kyle will be back next week to guest host. Pat is now dead.
There's one word that got... Okay, it must have been 3 hours later and he was still coming. Unbelievable.
True.
What a stud.
But I didn't actually mean it was like unbelievable. I meant like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I would have such a hernia if I did that for 3 hours.
No, we're not just having sex for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I know he's just.
Yeah, he's blasting out.
Yeah. Just like a fire hydrant.
Can you imagine how good that must feel?
like-
Do you think that's if you've led a good life and you go to the afterworld? Do you think that's what it's like? Just that endless 3 hour orgasm?
I don't think that would feel good.
No, it'd be annoying after a while. You're
Well,
like,
it'd
okay.
feel great for a few minutes.
Yeah.
By
but-
hour 3, but there's a pleasure associated with pain.
And I'm just like, yeah, keep putting
Pleasures.
That's
3 hours onto my cervix.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be coming out of one's ears by the end of that.
That's also-
Like,
yeah.
where does it go? Did it stay up in me? Did it like shoot back out? Like,
Yeah.
what did it destroy my inside?
I don't know. You'd have to say we know it felt hot and sticky, and I like to hear how the other half
Was it
lives
was it
during these
was it
things.
actually tangible or was it just conceptual? Was it just like a
Yeah, I don't know
I'll
if he
stop
was
talking.
actually picturing it or it was just that like he was orgasming for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was like a sting kind of like
Yeah,
tantric.
tantric.
Yeah.
It was a tantric.
Don't lions do things like that?
I don't know. You'd have to consult someone from the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
No, we could ask Disney, Mufasa. How's the sex?
I mean, I know a lot. So the end is I fell asleep. When I woke up it was 12 a.m. Oh shit, where were his parents?
I'm just glad he's not still ejaculating.
Not home, but mine would be going insane. He was up to sitting in the kitchen. He greeted me, ecstatic. You were so good.
I know. I'm the best Mouseketeer.
He presented me with a cup of cappuccino.
Also big in 92.
I wonder if it was that International House stuff that comes out of a can.
That's what I, yeah. In a,
Celebrating the moments of your life.
like when you come for 3 hours straight and you have to make a cappuccino for your 12-year-old sex partner.
Tell me he smoked a cigarette.
No. I was very anti-cigarette.
Well, no, but he might have after the 3 hours.
No.
I need a whole carton.
No. I would never date a smoker. Okay. My dad smoked, and I was very against it. He presented me with a cup of cappuccino in a sweet little white cup trimmed with gold. I think I thought that's what adults did.
Yeah, I was gonna say again with the great little detail.
Like
I love
adults had coffee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that.
And not just
soon.
coffee. Yeah,
And
not just coffee.
in my
yeah.
head, they're like wearing a robe after sex, and they're like, you were great. You know?
A smoking jacket, perhaps, and an ascot.
Yeah. Like,
And were you wearing a kimono?
I mean, I'm sure.
Or like billowing white like linen outfits like R. Kelly wears in his videos.
You know how like everyone on TV after they have sex immediately puts their clothes back on?
Right.
I think that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Or they smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started to cry. Tony, what did we do? Just those 5 words ended the charade. He looked terrified too. I don't know. God, he held me tight. Whatever it was, we did it again, and it was 1,000 times better. 3,000 hours of sex and come.
Time.
The last line. Chernobyl was an accident too. And look at the consequences of that little mistake.
Oh my god. Wait, what's
That was a kind of dated reference for the early 90s.
What does
though.
the last line mean? The whole it was a mistake, I guess.
The whole thing was a mistake.
It was it was your personal Chernobyl.
no,
Yeah.
because it's like,
It was a little mistake, and it led to gigantic nuclear disaster.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
it was
presumably 400 years of celibacy.
Yeah.
and like maybe a baby that was really deformed. I don't know.
Yeah, but after that 3-hour spree, it's sort of like, I'm probably done with this.
for life. Yeah.
I mean, it's Tony Lucha, you know.
I mean, well, it's going to take a while to recharge, you understand?
Hell
And
yeah.
I had a boyfriend.
Oh my god, that was.
And he has a girlfriend too, but she won't.
She won't even French him.
Oh god.
I know. Well, maybe that's why he was building up so
For
much.
the 3 hours.
That's fucking.
This is
First of all, I think we need to. That is worth an applause break. That
Yeah.
was fucking.
My
For
12-year-old
a 12.
self.
Yeah.
Thanks you.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so erotic. I enjoyed it tremendously.
honestly, you could change the like circumstances, and that's like basically 50 Shades of
50
Grey.
Shades of Grey. That's what I
but,
was
like,
thinking. Yeah.
Really literary.
Yeah.
I think it's better written.
That's what I'm
by
saying.
far, yeah. That was the thing that really, struck me is that it's like, it's a 12-year-old writing it, but it's like, again, it has the 12-year-old like world wiseness,
Yeah.
world wisdom,
Yeah.
but it's like really well written.
Yeah,
That's the thing
the
that's.
asides are clever.
Yeah, the asides are clever.
Structure needs something to be desired, but that's a
No, I mean,
common problem
again,
for fan fiction.
Pearl Jam, etc., Women's Lib, and whatnot.
Well, yeah, those are the asides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
I
those
mean,
are.
there's long Herodotean passages
Yeah.
in it. I really like the president's paper, though. That's its own series, as far as I'm concerned.
So the question that sticks out at me the most prominently: did your parents ever find this thing?
No.
Because
They didn't read my
okay.
notebooks as far as I know.
Okay.
But like I said, I had found their porn when I was much younger.
Oh, that's great. So you could just be like, I learned it from you, Dad. I learned it from looking under your
That's
bed.
a whole other.
Have you seen
story
Tony
to get
Lucha?
into. But yeah, I think
gorgeous.
I think I was exposed too early to like weird sex. No, not weird, but like
Yeah.
sex stuff. So I was like, I had this idea. I thought I knew. I was like reading letters to Penthouse.
Yeah.
So it's like, and so I just like superimposed that over Mickey Mouse Club, which is like the most clean, squeaky clean thing.
Well, one of the worst things you find out in the adult world is that life isn't enough like Dear Penthouse.
Yeah.
Unless you're Mr.
I thought
Goodnight.
that's what my life would be like, except as a Musketeer. So yeah.
Yeah. You can combine both. Oh my.
No,
God.
it's true. When you're a kid, you have strange conceptions of the adult world. Neighbor Frank, he always says he was fecked up because his reference for adults was Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, and he thought that's what adults act like.
Well, that was fucking awesome.
That really was.
That was
Seriously, that was some good fan fiction.
Thank
you understand? Who was the cutest of these girls?
Of these girls.
Besides
I mean,
you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of these Mouseketeers, were any of them hot?
Yeah, I mean, Carrie Russell was a Musketeer.
Yeah.
Felicity?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a hottie. Yeah, what happened to her?
She's still acting. Isn't she on The American?
Yes. Yeah. That is
Yeah.
her.
This is making me hot and bothered, I have to admit. The fact you got no air conditioning up in here too, Rivers, makes me want to start my own fan fiction on a steel bed somewhere.
A steel bed. That was the
Yeah.
other thing. A
Sturdy.
stainless steel bed.
You need something that can
that
support
what
you
I
for those
said?
3
Yeah,
hours.
I don't even remember.
I think you said
It's
it
like
was a steel bed.
which is like one of those weird things where it's like, is the frame made of steel or is it like some sort of like?
See, I just imagine you'd heard "Lay Lady Lay" or something. You're like,
No.
brass bed, fuck that, upgrade, steel
No,
bed.
It's the
trying to-
19. It's
Nashville
like,
I'm
skyline
trying to figure
influenced
why. I think I was
fan
trying to
fiction.
picture like what a cool but adult boy's room would look like.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd even been in a boy's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like it's not going to be a race car bed. That's all we know.
Well, it would
Yeah.
probably be pretty messy because that's what most boys' rooms are.
Sure, but in my head, he was the kind of boy who served me cappuccino, so he would not.
Right. Yeah.
So like I think but you know what? I think by the time I added like the Pearl Jam line, I had probably been in a guy's room, but not in like a sexy way. But like you know, I would have been like, oh my god, does he have like Cypress Hill blacklight posters? You know, like that would have been like that. Like, and because I think like a couple years later was like when I first was like really in a guy's room, and the guy had
I'm gonna have to go back and revise now.
he had
Yeah.
a water bed. He was 15 and he had a water.
Oh,
bed.
he's probably got horrible back problems now.
I know, and I remember
he's probably Henry that works at the record store.
his name was Spunk.
I hate spunk.
I hate spunk.
That was like one of my first real, when I was like, I remember because like this is like, I was like, yeah, I'm in a boy's room. That wasn't his real name, but that was like his cool guy name.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
he made T-shirts that said Spunk and sold them to younger kids in like cool
What?
writing that's with the shroom graffiti on them.
Did it have that S that's like the 3 lines that you draw on?
Yeah.
And he was like the first guy I met who actually had game as a teenager. And he was like, come into my room, and he started like humping me on a waterbed, like very slowly. But I like, even though I had written all this, I like wasn't sure what being dry humped was.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what are you doing? I don't understand what's happening. I was like, I thought you just wanted to be friends.
Is this gonna go on for 3 hours?
Yeah, I didn't. And he was like,
I gotta be somewhere. I don't have 3 hours.
like I thought you wanted, because he had like told a friend. he
Better
wanted
make
to
me
be
some coffee
friends.
afterwards.
And he was like, I just meant, how can we be lovers if we can't be friends?
As some dude named Spunk
I like this guy's style.
using Michael, and they just carelessly throwing out Michael Bolton.
Yeah, I was like,
lines.
that's, and I knew even that. I was like, that's a Michael Bolton line. He's like, I know, I've been wanting to say it for a while.
Lynn, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at lynnbixenspan.com, or my Twitter. You can follow me at Lynn Bixenspan.
Yeah.
And Lynn, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about typing some of this stuff up and putting it on like fanfiction.net or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just have it up on my Tumblr, but I have like,
yeah, that's where we're reading from, by the way. So
yeah.
check out Lynn's Tumblr if you want to. If you want to,
So it's online.
If you want to revisit
But
this in your
I-
private time.
lynnbixenspan.tumblr.com. I don't really update it. I also have like newer fan fiction that I've written, just so you know.
And what other?
what's
what's the newer ones about?
Well, I helped produce a fan fiction show when I got older and that's how it like occurred to me that I should read some of this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I wrote more like real people fic, like Lena Dunham and Taylor Swift in a bathtub, like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
well,
you can
next
read-
time you're in LA, we'll have you back.
Yeah,
and
that's
we'll
a
do
whole. It's very different though, because it's like me purposely writing,
Right.
So it's a
Is it
different.
like? So is it like? Because there's the erotic fan fiction or the romance fan fiction, and
Oh
then
no,
there's
this is
just
erotic, but this
okay.
is like this is intentionally funny.
Yeah,
As
okay.
opposed to the unintentional humor of
Yeah.
being a 12-year-old.
Right.
So you can follow me on all those places, and I don't update my Tumblr, but you can you can. I do tweet a lot though.
Do you have any shows or any?
In New York, you can come see my monthly show Relationship, which is all stories about relationships and real onstage therapy with therapists.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
At QED in Queens, which is the second Friday of every month.
Alrighty. Well,
Cool.
yeah, New York City people, go check out Lynn.
So if Lynn Bixenspan's around, you don't know what you're going to get.
No.
But it's going to be something good.
It's going to be fucking
and if you're not a
amazing.
fan from this
Dude,
episode of the podcast,
Yeah, if you're not a fan of a goddamn 12-year-old who can write the most like hilarious advanced thing ever, and then also have a scene where somebody's jizzing for 3 hours, what the fuck do you want in a person and a performer and a comedian?
That
And this
shit
is-
was not only sexy; it gave me something to aspire to now in life.
And this is some
3 hours.
And this is
special.
somebody with more years of wisdom about the world,
Yeah.
more refinement in their
Yeah.
abilities and their wit.
Yeah.
So definitely see Lynn
Yeah.
if she's around or you're around any of her
She's coming to your
productions
town.
or featured thereof.
Make the trip. You can follow us, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Tweet at us, tweet at Lynn if you like the episode.
Rate,
And,
review, and subscribe.
that is the best. I mean, tell people however you can about the show, but the best way is to go to iTunes. I just saw we got a couple of ratings. So
Yeah.
so-
Shout out to Smarky Smark.
That's right. Yeah. So say something nice about us, and in the meantime, as I mentioned last episode, I'll be. I've decided I'm gonna drive back to Alabama to go to the 280 boogie because gas is cheap and stuff like that. So I just said fuck it. So I'm gonna be coming through Austin. I don't know when or where, but stay tuned for those details. But I will be back
And
in Alabama.
You like the monkeys rivers. You better get ready.
And if-
I might be coming to your town.
And if you're a fan of the show and you're along any of the major interstate highways between here and Auburn, Alabama, if you want to hang out with Rivers, ask.
Yeah, just look for I'll be stopping to take Instagram pictures of weird shit I see. Like last time I was home, there was a sign that said Tuesday night professional wrestling, midgets and women, 8:00, and I was like, ooh, okay,
Yeah,
it sounds like
invite him to your town, buy him a mojito, give him a microphone, have him tell some jokes.
Take him to the record store.
yeah, take me to the record store.
give him your local barbecue.
Yeah, all that shit.
Have him cook
Have
up some
fun.
barbecue.
Have fun with Rivers.
Yeah, but I'll be back in Alabama on April 16th. And if you are in the South and you want to check out a very cool independent music festival, the Waverly Boogie, April 16th, it's a one-day festival. And the headliners this time are Lee Bains III and Glory Fires, who Lee Bains actually went to high school with past guest Wes Van Horn. So I've hung out with Lee a couple of times. He's signed to Sub Pop Records. Their records are badass. You should check out. There is a bomb.
They don't still have Nirvana, do they?
No.
Whatever happened to those guys?
Did they have the first? Didn't the first
Bleach
Nirvana
came out
album
on
come
Sub Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did they still?
I think they probably they're still making money on that record. I'm sure.
Are they still making singles?
Probably.
I want to get a single of Aero Zeppelin.
But you can check out Lee Bains records. The new one's called Dereconstructed, and the one I'm going to play this track from is their first record. It's called There Is a Bomb in Gilead, and the song is called Opelika. We'll see you next time.
Baby, 2,000 miles east of LA and 1,000 south of NYC. It's where I was born, God willing, it's where I'll die. It's fine with me. While the moves in the suits are on the faxes and phones, boys and bands are all doing their hair. We gonna tone it down a Opelika, hope you like it down there. Oh, we gonna tone it down a Opelika, hope you like it down there. Oh. So your girl got married and got lame. Your boy got buried in the couch. You've been wondering, baby, which way to turn. Ever since the fire burned out, then your folks are at home.
from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at TheGoodsPod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.